Good morning, everyone. Sunday Elijah here. Well, how are you surviving? That is a question you shouldn't ask us here. Shegun Fatima, good morning. Mofelola, good morning. Anne-Marie, good morning. Fumi Jaboda, good morning. Omonike Ikeade, good morning. Ikifa, good morning. Joko Freeman, good morning. Joko Freeman, good morning. Bosefaya Jola, morning. Dumayas, good morning from the Philippines. Wow, look who is watching. Ushe Okere, you are back in Manchester, right? Welcome back home. Wow. Ushe was here with us for the HMT and is back home now. Pansy Piang, welcome. Charles Smith, nice to see you. David Shegun, welcome. John Lucky, Jide Craig, welcome. Nice to see all of you. Margarita Christopher, welcome. What a name, Christopher, wow. Margarita Christopher. Christopher means Christ. Or Christ. You know, it's not just Christ, but Christ's own. Yes, Christ's own. Christ. T.Y., good morning. Adeleye, good morning. Shegun Pritdipaolu, Kevin Nash, Rochelle White, Anastasia McDonald, Kika Adetiba. Adetiba. Meme Blessing, Nkiro Jimadu, Kevin Nash, Purity Life, Prince Nehemiah, Oluwatokpesheun, T.Y. Good morning, everyone. Wilson Araromi, Tim Dotun Adenira, Bidemi, Shisandra, Dumayas again, Uwa Desmond. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. This week we are talking about the difference between men and women, and that's still the topic that we are going to keep on talking on. And okay, well, let's go ahead and share the button. Go look for your share. For your share button, it's under your video there. Let's go share the link. As soon as we do that, we'll be ready to go. Let's go share the link. Look under your video, you'll see the share link there. And yep. And let's take off. Let's be ready to go. Okay. Today, I want to talk about the difference. At least I want to start with that. I want to talk about the difference the difference in how a man reacts to divorce and how a woman reacts to divorce. Maybe you want to go and get some divorced people from there. If there is anybody there who is divorced, that might help. Are you divorced? No. Then you will not. Yeah, you alone is not enough. Uh-huh. It could help.
Yeah, that would help.
So, yeah, I think sometimes especially we men, don't know how detrimental divorce could be to the ladies. And even the ladies don't quite know how the men feel towards or about divorce. We might not quite understand each other in this term. So it's a question that we must address. Let's all learn from each other what is happening to the man and what is happening to the lady when they divorce or when issues of divorce come up. Even though I have some information, but it could be helpful to actually talk to people who have experienced this. They might be able to help us better. And bring that close this year. Yes. No, that way. Nobody? They are too upright.
Yes.
Nobody is divorced here. I thought some people had come to sit there, so. Yeah, okay. So anyway, so since we don't have divorced people in the house today, I'm going to tell you as much as I know. First of all, the Bible says in Malachi that God hates divorce. So if God hates divorce, is it Malachi or Malachi, okay. Yes, Malachi. If God hates divorce, I think we should hate it too. So anything that God dislikes, we should dislike. Anything that God hates, we have to hate. And personally, I believe that men are responsible for divorces. And men not responsible, it will not be right to say that. What I'm trying to say is that men are responsible at the end of the day. If the men are the head of the family, their decision or how they are able to build the family goes a long way to determining if the lady wants to stay or go away. And naturally, divorce is not something a lady wants to do. Every woman wants to keep her family, basically, believe me. Every woman wants to retain a home. And I don't think a woman that is well treated will live, no woman will live a good husband. Outside, out there, in the wide west of our world, most people, even in church, believe that women are responsible for divorce. That is what I mostly hear. And the mood is like a woman is supposed to build a house or build a home. And so when a man leaves, men tend to think that, oh, she couldn't hold on to her home, or she couldn't cope, or she was not good enough. Do I think that is fair? Not really sure. Madam, please, you come in. I'm not really very sure of that. I think it's not fair. I think it's not fair to think or to say that the women are to blame for divorce. I don't think the women are to blame. Because if the men are the head of the family, at the end of the day, the ball rests at their doors, at their doorstep. I think the men, as the head of the family, should ultimately take responsibility. And I don't know any woman who will easily walk out from a family when she has the children to cope with, when she has the bills to cope with. Even when, women have many more things to consider before leaving a home, more than men. Like we had shown photographs and, we had proven all this week that for men it's just straightforward. It's a matter of decision or not decision. But for the woman, she needs to consider how to keep on working, how to keep on, the children going out. She has 1,000 of questions, and it's much more a difficult decision for her to take. If a woman eventually decides to leave a home, you know what? It means things have been so bad. It means things have been so bad that she doesn't just have any option. Normally, she will leave either some things are at stake, either her life or the life of her children or her future, or some serious things must be at stake. But men could actually leave for much more trivial reasons than the ladies. Their life doesn't have to be at stake before they leave. Men leave because they see other women. Men leave because the woman, they think they don't respect them. Men leave because, they were tempted, or they got another kid outside, or, many more, much more easier reasons. But what we must consider, whoever is responsible for divorce, God hates divorce. That's the first thing we must consider. The second thing we must consider is what then happens, what is going on in the life or in the mind or in the life of a man or a woman that divorces. Let me tell you what's going on is this. When a man divorces, unless in case the woman leaves or the woman betrays him or the woman gets involved sexually with another person. If the woman gets involved sexually with another person, his wife, that is a bit different case, more painful for him. But otherwise, if he is going or if they just decide to divorce, he feels bad a little bit, but mostly life just goes on for the man. If a man divorces, it could pain him for a day or two or for a week. But, you know what? He just goes about his business. But if a woman divorces, it's as good as her losing half of her life. Divorce to a woman is like her life is totally ruined. Divorce to a woman is like an absolute damage. It's like cutting her into two physically and telling her to keep on living. Divorce to a woman is like shattering her. It's like taking a rose, a flower, and trampling that flower under the feet, and then still expect that flower to survive it and to live. How does that flower gather itself together when it's so damaged already? Divorce damages a woman on more levels than one, and that we could imagine. Now, why is it easier? Is divorce easier on the man? Well, I'm going to go back to our old culprit, our old helper. I'm going to go back to our old helper here. I'm going to go back to our old helper. Our old secret got to be able to see. Yeah. Yeah. You see, the man is here. The man's emotion, the body, heart, emotions, feelings, mind, they are all separate. They could be united. You see the tiny thin line between them that unites them. But it takes decision. Those thin lines are decisions. He has to take conscious decision to unite them. So when he divorces, that is painful to him, let's say, emotionally, but that pain in the emotions don't have to affect his heart, his mind, his body. He doesn't have to be sick out of that. Because the wife left, he doesn't get sick. The woman, it affects the woman. You say everything, the body, the heart, the emotions, the feelings, and the mind of the woman is all intertwined. So that anything that happens to her, including divorce, it hits her, damages her on all levels. Everything is just messed up together. It's like that flower that is smashed on the floor, and then that is being trampled on the floor under the feet. She is just a total mess. It just affects her on every level. So it's not just about her caring or thinking about how to take her children to school. It's more than that. It's not just about her. It's not just about her thinking how to feed herself or how to feed the children. Before it goes even to the outside things like that, inside, you see what is happening inside? It's very destructive. So it's like, can you imagine when a woman marries, the way all this is intertwined, that's the way her life is intertwined with the man. She is seeing her life, her family as one entity like that. And for the man, the reason why a man could have a child and not even ask about the children is because this is how family looks like for a man. And myself, my wife, my two children, they are all separate. So he has to give himself the chance to think about them. If he doesn't give himself the chance to think about them, he doesn't even think about them. That's the man. So for the woman, even if she doesn't want to think about them, she cannot stop thinking about them. So a family to the woman is, see, somewhere there is my wife, is my husband, our whole life is our husband, our whole life is our children, our whole life is our family. Because all things are intertwined. So can you then imagine how this would look like in the case of divorce? You have to unravel all this. How do you now unravel all this? That's why God hates divorce. That explains why God hates divorce. Because it damages and destroys one of the parties. Is this something that people understand? I have some people here. Let's try to find out from this explanation I just gave about divorce. Is it something that really understood? Pastor Ronkeko.
I don't think people understand the gravity of divorce. I don't think men and women understand. I don't. Because if they do, they will try and settle the matter between the both couples.
But you've never been divorced.
God forbid.
You don't like to be divorced?
Pastor.
So you don't have an experience. You don't know how it feels.
I don't have the experience, but I know a few people who went through a divorce. And
how destructive is that to the woman?
It's very destructive. Very, very destructive. They can't think properly. They can't do things anymore. Even sometimes some women landed in psychiatric hospital. That is how terrible, how bad it is. Especially if they are really in love with their husband. It's terrible. I try to encourage couples, even if a married woman comes to me and say, "Oh, I'm having a problem with my husband," I always encourage them and say to them, try as much as possible to be together. I mean, try as much as possible to solve the problem that you're going through. Do your part. Do your part and let God intervene on your behalf.
Pastor, please go ahead. Go ahead.
I have a friend. He's my good friend.
Okay.
I think we both married at the same around the same year. So this friend of mine lived behind my house. After a few years that they got married, she got married with her husband. They started having problems, and the problem is that my friend goes to parties all the time, and the husband has been complaining to her and said, "I don't want you going to parties. You're always going to parties every Saturday," and they have 2 children. But my friend said, "I can't do without going to parties. You met me going to parties as a party goer. So why would you now say you don't want me going to parties? That's what I love doing." So my friend came to me and said to me, "This man is disturbing me. He won't allow me to be going to parties." Then I said to her, I said, "Why don't you do what your husband is saying to you?" He said, "No, I'm not doing it. I'm just going to do what I feel I feel like doing, what I love doing." I said to her, I said, "Listen, you're playing with your marriage." She didn't believe what I said. I said, "You're playing with your marriage. If I were you, I would listen to him." Anyway, she didn't listen. She kept going. One day, she went to a party. She came back home. The man is gone.
But did she suffer as a result?
When she came to my house, knocking my door, and said, "Okay, I don't know what happened, but my husband, I can't find my husband." I said, "Go and look for him now." He said, "I can't find him. He's not in the house. I've called his phone. He's not picking up his phone, blah, blah, blah." I said, "Well, just wait for him and wait till the second day and see, maybe the man will turn up." The man did not turn up. Anyway, to cut the story short, she found out that the man has gone with another woman, and another woman that he went with is her friend too. Makes things complicated.
It often happens like that.
So when she now went to go and call the elders to talk to the husband, to beg the husband said, "I'm done with her. I have been telling her the way she's behaving in the house. She goes to parties. I've been telling her, warning her, she's not listening to me. I am done with her. I don't want her anymore." That's how the marriage broke down. So at the end of the day, the man gone forever. And then my friend was suffering.
Was she suffering?
Oh yeah, she's crying bitterly. She said, "I have used my hand to destroy my own home. How can I use my hand to destroy my own home?" Then I said to her, "But I've been telling you this, but you've not been listening. I have used my hand. There's nobody like..." After a few years, he said, "I have tried this, I've tried this man, I've tried so many men. There's nobody like my husband. There's nobody like this man. I can't find anybody like this man. I've looked around. All the men that have been coming across, they are useless. All these men, they are just using me and dumping me." Well, I said, there's nothing I...
So she's even more broken after the divorce.
Oh my goodness, she's broken. She's broken into pieces. Anytime she sees me, she's always crying. She's always crying and saying to me, "How
And
can
the man
you-"
has moved on.
The man has gotten married to the lady and they're having another children.
And he
Just
doesn't
like
even
that.
care. He has forgotten about it. For with a woman, it's easier.
Just
He has
like
moved on. He's having his own family.
Yeah.
You might remember occasionally, but that lady, the thing with that she is remembering that relationship every day, even if she's in a good relationship. But the man, every day, maybe once a year, he remembers. No, maybe if he's very emotional, maybe sensitive, maybe once a month, that he was once married.
She even said she can't find him anymore. She doesn't know. She can't find his location. She can't find where the man is.
He doesn't even show up at all.
At all.
What? Yeah, okay.
Okay, I just felt I would make a comment. First of all, to begin from the point where you said that men must always take responsibility when a divorce happens.
Okay.
And what went into my mind was that I have not yet come across any woman who has complained of too much love.
Oh.
I mean, too much love never kills any woman,
Yeah.
and that's what really the women would love. So it means that in one way or the other, if anything goes wrong, somehow as men, we must still take responsibility for the consequences of our marriage. I mean, even what my sister here is sharing, it is obviously true. But again, if you really looked at it very strictly, it's like the man wanted his way, and he really was not willing to bend low for for his wife. If really he had chosen, then just for the sake of just the woman going for the parties, maybe would never have broken the marriage. There could have been so many other issues, so many other factors at play, in terms of their communication, in terms of their commitment, because once you know each other, one of the things, looking at myself and my wife, and I always thank God for, is that we were fast friends before we got married. And so sometimes I have a feeling that, you see, the foundation of friendship, that you knew each other. You came together, before you came together as a husband and wife, at least there was already friendship. You were friends. So can we maintain that friendship even in marriage? That even when you come to marriage, you know each other. You know you are friends, irrespective of the challenges that happen. And I have discovered that when you take the marriage, when you take your partner as a friend to begin with, there is a way it brings understanding to each other. Because yes, you know the weaknesses of one another, but then you are able to bear with each other because you are friends.
Okay, well, let's talk with this topic, the way I would love us to address it is to talk about what are the effects of divorce to the man, and the consequences and the effect of divorce to the man as well, to the two of them. What are the differences that we could how do we see it?
Let me give an example of a friend I know, maybe from the men. Yes, from the men perspective, because this is a personal friend that we work together, and he's gone through a divorce, and really this time it wasn't his own making. I mean, they are unique men, and I think this friend of mine
was a good guy.
He was a very good guy. Oh. It so happened that his wife was continually unfaithful to him. They had 2 children. He thought these were his children, yet the two children belonged to other men, each child to a different man. And he loved these children. He could come with them in the office. We were all very happy, we were all excited. Well, long story short is that finally, of course, they start to go through some bits of misunderstanding. And this time, of course, it was coming from the lady who was coming late, who was not really respecting the man. So when communication broke down, the man finally realizes, being told by the wife openly, that you are bragging, you're a man, you're not the father, of your children. So, of course, this raised a storm in the house. I was privileged to finally be part of it in terms of trying to see how I could handle and counsel them and guide them to still remain together. Now, what's interesting is that even when this happened, the man still had chosen to forgive his wife. It is as amazing as that. Even when he knew that the children were not his, he had still opted to forgive the wife, to still stay with the wife. But the wife was determined to say, enough is enough. I don't want to stay with you. Now, this devastated the man. And first of all, as men, when they go through some of these situations, they first of all hide them. They store them to themselves. Now, you begin to see the effects in terms of work productivity. I happened to be the supervisor of this colleague of mine. So I could look at him and I could just know something is not right. So I approach him and I'm like, my brother, what's going on? Are you really fine? And of course, sometimes first he will tell you, no, all is well, I'm okay. But then you just know he's not himself. Because he was storing up a lot of emotions in himself. And the danger with that is that if he does not reveal them, it can cause him to go to the extreme. I mean, some men have committed suicide, others have even chosen to murder their spouses. As a result of that, I have a few cases I've witnessed of that kind of nature, where really the man just felt his world had come to an end, and the only way is let him terminate the life of the other person, or was still both of them terminate, they end their lives. So the productivity of my friend went down. He kind of like narrowed his world to himself. You could really see he was struggling to cope up, but then you know something was definitely wrong, So even to men, divorce is very traumatizing, especially to men who would love their families, who would really want to remain faithful to the person that they have said yes to, So to this particular colleague, it was extremely very devastating. But maybe to quickly also say something about the women, because I have another sister of mine who has experienced a divorce. And my only challenge here is more now to the church, because like you've already said, what the women go through is unbearable, because this young sister of mine divorced at a very early age, caused by the man who was unfaithful, and he had taken on other women, and the lady was still willing to stay with him, but the man just woke up one day and said, I want you to get out of my house. No negotiations, that is it, get out. So we did all we could. The church came in, everybody came in who was important, the best man, all of us, we failed to convince this friend. Now, the challenge is that here you have a young girl of about 32 years experiencing a divorce. And the question is, does she marry again? In our situation, it has become very complicated because the scriptures that feel that if you were to marry again, it's like you are committing adultery and whatever. And so this is, to me, the scriptures even became more devastating. The spiritual implication became even more devastating to the sister, because even when we could say, okay, can we believe God that you will get another person to marry? It's like, but then which church will wed me? Which pastor will accept me again? You know, who will again ever allow me to stand in the church and be wedded? So it's like her entire world has come to an end. So the devastation, even on the woman's side, from the church point of view, becomes even very complicated.
You know what, Pastor? There are two instances we just heard. One is from the side of the man, and the other is from the side of the woman. Now, somebody just wrote something here now, and what he wrote is that women are oftentimes women are the first to be unfaithful. That is the stereotype in our society, that women are always to blame for divorce. Yeah, so most people, there's a lot of people thinking like that. Not just men think like that now. Even there are women, or especially older women, who think that if a divorce takes place, it's because a woman cannot keep her home. And they said a wise woman builds her home. And some people will say, okay, you couldn't build your home, that's why your wife or your husband is leaving. So, and now let me tell you something about the nature of women. Even though that situation, Pastor, and that man, your friend from your office that got a divorce. So let's look at the situation. This woman has been so unfaithful to the extent that there are two children who are not even from the husband. That is the height of unfaithfulness, because she did not just sleep with other men, but she slept with the other men to the extent of getting pregnant twice. But as horrible as that sounds, I don't know the case. This might be an exceptional case, but if we are going to take the normal woman situation, you know, the way nature has built women, you know, before a woman could do that, believe you me, even if she's a prostitute, I'm telling you that I've worked with, in our church here, we work with prostitutes. And, you know, one time when we asked people to come to the stage who were prostitutes before, we had hundreds of them. So I've had cases of listening to prostitutes, and I know that it's not their nature. It's not the nature of women to even be promiscuous. For a woman to be married in their husband's home and house and still be going to do adultery and up to the stage of getting pregnant, you know what? That woman needs to be listened to.
Yeah.
I bet you. There are some underlying stories that must be heard.
Yeah.
Yes, we see the result of adultery. Yes, we see that the facts are there. She's been unfaithful for sure. And we can see the result. The children are not the man. So she's promiscuous. But are there some underlying stories that we must know? Was she forced into that marriage in the first place? Did she marry someone she didn't love? Was she already in love parallel with another person before she had to marry this person? And she cannot live with him. But she had been forced to live under the same something. So next point. As good as the man is, could it be that the man is kind, but not understanding our needs and not meeting those needs. You know, a woman is created in such a way that she only needs one man to meet all her needs, especially sexually. A woman doesn't have the desire for many sexual partners. In fact, sex is not even number one agenda in her life. Believe me. She needs other things like protection. So this thing that they are telling me here, that is the normal story for women. Women are the first to always be unfaithful. Believe me, that is the stereotype. She is not naturally inclined to be unfaithful, especially when she's having 2 children. So, but if our need for protection is not there, if then coupled with our needs for companionship, if our needs for companionship is not met, if our need for romance is not there, if there is no covering, no fatherly acceptance, then you are pushing her away.
Yeah.
But even then, before she goes away, she's not going away for sex. So even when she goes away to another man, you know she's not going for sex. Believe me, a woman is not going away to look for sex. Even if she goes away to look for anything, she's going to look for that acceptance, that protection, that fatherly love, that care. Sex for a woman is only the resulting consequence of something that either she had been given that is much more for her important than sex, or she had to go into sex to get that loving care and protection. So a woman might be forced into adultery or relationship because she thinks that she could get in exchange for that sex the warmth, the covering, the love that she cares, she needs for. So for a woman now to have a man inside her house and be going outside somewhere to look for that, I would have liked to listen to the 2 sides of the stories. So this thing that is being written here, that's normal for the ladies. Women, I just propose because I just feel this is one thing we need to correct, not just in the body of Christ, but even in our world. This idea that women are all ashawo,
I don't believe that.
or women are all prostitutes or harlots, or they are naturally inclined to be harlots or prostitutes. If you study the nature of women, you will discover that they are not. Believe me. So, what you say, as a woman?
I'm a woman, and as a woman, I will talk on behalf of other women.
Okay.
Every woman that are married want to be listened to by their husband.
Okay.
They want their husband to care for them.
Okay.
They want their husband to love them. They want their husband to always listen to them. They want their husband to respect them and honor them. When you have a man who honors you all the time, who loves you all the time, who cares for you, who are thinking about you all the time, a woman wants to die with that man.
You see?
Even if you caught that man sleeping with another woman, the only thing the woman will say is, meet me at home.
She will still be willing to
The
remain.
woman will forgive that man, because you have to think of the caring of the man. And that's what I said to my children. They know. I said, I love your dad because the way he does his own thing. I cannot leave my husband for one small girl. the marriage that we have been building for years, and somebody will just come, and I'll just say, okay, I will leave him for that girl. God forbid. So a woman is not a prostitute. A woman, we're not, the way men sees us as if that maybe women, they love men or they like sleeping around, I think it's a lie. No women would love to be sleeping around or changing men like you're changing your slippers. It's true. Women want a man that cares, that is loving, that honors, that respects.
That's true.
That's what women want. So if a woman is cheating behind the husband's back, it's either from day one, that woman did not love that man. Number two, it's either the man is not caring enough. It's either the man is neglecting the lady, the wife all the time. It's either the man is not doing his duty in the bedroom. So if the man is doing all those things, of course the woman will be looking elsewhere, looking for somebody who will care for her.
She will not look elsewhere.
No, I'm saying if a woman,
if the man
is doing all those things, he doesn't have time for the woman. He's neglecting the woman. He doesn't listen. Okay. Yeah, he doesn't listen to the woman. He's always out. He's not doing the real thing, even in the bedroom. Of course, the woman will go out and look for somebody who cares for her, somebody who will listen to her, somebody who will have time for her.
But could there be exceptions, like in this case, when the man is doing everything and the woman will still go a while? Or it's just that something has to be wrong? Would the women that I know who do that are sick mentally?
I think with your case, if I might say, Pastor said it's either the woman, the marriage is being forced. Maybe they force the woman to marry the man, or the man cannot really do something in the
relationship.
Yes, he cannot do much.
Perform, yeah. You said, well, you wanted to say something about it.
I actually, obviously, I'm too young. I don't know marriage, divorce, but I love to listen to people who've been through things. Okay. And I actually only know stories of where the woman has left the marriage or the woman has broken the marriage. Okay. But like you said, in each of those cases, she has internal issues that come from when she was younger or just come from her psychology. I mean, I had a teacher who told a story, and he said that, till she left and almost until she died, he did not divorce her, but she would wake up in the middle of the night and start talking to herself, before the marriage, she seemed normal. But, after all this, she started telling people that he was abusing her and everything. She left with some other man, got into drugs.
So that's the kind of exception we're talking about.
Yeah.
When the woman is having psychological issues.
Yeah. Or there's also, I have another friend who he recently got a divorce because his wife, slept with another man. But because I know his character, I don't think it's because of him. I think that there's a smaller version of these issues that I can see even growing up as a woman in school. I can see where women will say, okay, so nobody loves me, or nobody can love me. So even if they get into a relationship that is good, they will never feel good enough to be in it. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know if you know what I'm saying, but do you get it? Like, it's like she has built up this internal dialogue so that even if she is in a great situation, she will say, I don't deserve this. I should just go and mess it up. That's what's going to happen anyways.
Yeah, but that's still going to talking about...
exceptions.
No, not just exceptions, but women that are damaged.
Yeah.
Okay. Or you are not ready to comment on that?
I really wouldn't want to.
Okay, go ahead to that.
Yes, to comment further than that.
Yes, sir. I'm overwhelmed with this teaching this morning, sir. Like what our mother here just said. She said every woman needs caring,
Okay.
and women needs attention. Because for me, for a woman to really leave her home, according to your teaching this morning, meaning there is something really deep in it, because no normal woman will just go out of the marriage, leaving the loving family, the children, the husband. So there must be something really, really deep in it. So for me as a pastor, I think I will come up with this advice that I will base on the book of Songs of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 15.
Okay.
And the book of Malachi 2 that you used this morning. That there are some things we shouldn't allow to start in our homes or in our marriage. Once we see those things coming up, we are supposed to kill it or take care of them, because the Bible says a little leavens the whole lump. And the book of Songs of Solomon chapter 2 that I just told us, it said there are little vines that destroys the vine. So there are also these little things that can destroy our marriages. And
speak louder.
Okay. And talking about divorce, I don't believe that divorce starts from the very day that it happened or that it started. I believe it started piece by piece. So if we are able to take care of those little pieces when they are coming, I believe they will not come to it will not become opened. So it is better for us to begin to deal with these little things. Maybe in the area of the men, and in the area of the women, like a friend that the husband was a kind of advising or telling and say, maybe, oh, honey, I don't like this thing that you are doing. Please, let's do it like this, let's do it like this, let's do it like this. I believe it would have helped a lot if the woman was listen to the husband, or maybe listen to advice from her friends. So please, I'm begging everybody, man and woman in marriage, and those that are aspiring or those that are wanting to go into marriage, we have to begin to take care of these little things that most of the time we don't see as relevant or important.
Okay. As a young girl, would you like to comment on what is your view on what you've been hearing? You are not married yet?
No.
Okay.
So for me, I think, so there's this book that I read, it's called The 5 Love Languages.
You have to speak much more louder.
Okay, so personally, there's this book that I read, it's called The 5 Love Languages.
Okay.
So everyone receives and gives love in 5 different ways. So a man does not receive love in the same way that a woman receives love. So you need to understand what your partner's love language is. So you can be in a situation where you love your partner, but she doesn't know, because the way she receives the love is not the way that you are giving it.
So, have you ever heard of divorce?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, actually, my topic today is the effect of divorce on a family, and why God says that God himself hates divorce. Why do you think God will hate divorce?
So divorce it breaks things. Like it causes, so God is love. That's what God is. I think love is probably the highest form of anything. Okay. It can't be replaced by money. It can't be replaced by power. It can't be replaced by anything. So that's why you see like the richest people in the world, they're not happy, they're in search of something, and that something is love. Love cannot be replaced by anything.
So what does it break? What are the consequences of divorce that you could read about, point to, heard about?
So in terms of
Do you know any friend or woman or who ever gone through that? What are the pain they go through?
yeah, definitely. So I think the biggest thing I've noticed is that they never find what they're looking for. So there will always, even if the man maybe goes to another woman, like she won't fulfill he's looking for love. But as I said before, the way people receive love is different. So you need to understand how your partner receives love. And yeah, he will always be looking for love and he won't find it in anyone else.
Basically, you are trying to say that divorce is never a solution.
It's not.
No. You will always be, even if you if you marry another person, she won't be enough. If you marry the next person, she won't be enough. I think the most important thing is you need to, your love tank needs to be full. And if it's not full, you will forever be in search of it. Forever.
So that's both for men and women.
Yeah.
You want to say anything about this topic?
Yeah, I believe divorce has a tremendous effect on both the man and the woman, because when you look at when you think about the whole process of when they got married, they may have been preserving themselves to find that person that they believe is the person to spend their life with for the rest of their life. So now they marry that person, and the time when they say I do, at that point in their mind, yes, this is the person that I've been waiting my whole life. And for you to have that experience, and then a few years down the line, a few years down the line, something happens that concludes in divorcing. All the emotions, all the feelings, all the everything together. It's like in a laboratory, you're trying to separate a compound. There has to be I forgot what they call it. There has to be like some kind of explosion, some kind of and that's exactly what happens when you divorce. It's like boom, and there is the effect on the emotional effect, damage that it leaves is like, if we do an experiment here and we're not covered and everything, we'll get some of the explosions, the damage, will go on our skin, everything, and we'll feel the pain and everything. So essentially, it's the same kind of way for when a divorce happens, but this time it's internal. The husband, the man, he will have his own type of pain that he's feeling, and the woman as well. And these are the things that will generally stick in a person's mind forever.
Are you from a full family?
Yeah, I am. Actually, you know what? There was a point that I told my mom, I said, I don't know if I'm going to get married. I think I'm just going to have kids. I don't think I'm going to get married. And I said that for a long time. My mom kept on, she was just persuading me. But if not because of my mom being an example to me, right now I will still be on that. I don't want to get married, because I've seen how men, how they're just destroyed. You can just tell that they're destroyed because their family's destroyed. They can't see their children. It's just. Actually, I've got a friend right now, my classmate. He every time on Facebook, he's always talking about he wants to see his son, his daughter. He wants to see his daughter, but he's it's not his wife though. But he can't. She's always preventing him, and he's always every time he's writing on Facebook, and I feel sad for him, and I always wonder. I understand his pain and stuff. He shouldn't really be always sharing that on Facebook and everything, but because of the pain that he's feeling from that, he's always, So for me, if not because of my mom being an example, my mom's married.
Okay, if you're as do you know what? I'll tell you this thing. One too is that as painful as that your guy and all your friends, as painful as they feel from their divorces, that will make you to say you might not marry because you've seen so much pain from your friends and from men. Believe me, guys, as painful as the man feels, a woman's pain is like 100 times more. And the reason why a woman will say, I will never allow him to see the child, is because she's concerned about bad examples, or she wants to punish him, or she's feeling so much pain that she just want to get back at him or something like that. So we are not listening to each other's views. I think the man needs to listen to the girl's view. What is the girl after? Why? And then the girl, somebody needs to get her to sit down. Normally girls need to speak out. And they need somebody to hear them out. The man, if the man is suffering though, for me, that's a good sign that the man also cares. And the man also wants to make something work. So for me, if the man is suffering, it's a sign that the thing is not hopeless. The marriage is not hopeless. And a woman should always give a man a chance if that man is suffering. Because normally men can just walk. But if he's not just going away, but he's suffering, a woman should never allow a man that is suffering to go. If a man is regretting, even if he's the one who left, but he's still regretting, it means things could still be repaired. But for you to have said that you thought of not even marrying, that is serious. That is very strong. There must have been some very strong arguments or reasons for that. Could you tell me more about that?
Definitely. I mean, I told my mom, I said, Mom, I do not want to go through that. Like, I don't want to, do all the things that I'm doing, trying to, fulfill my destiny, achieve all these different things, and then I get married, and then somehow
it takes you back.
Yeah, I don't want to go through that. Okay. And as much as they say, okay, yeah, women do have emotions, we men have emotions too. We do. It's just the truth. Maybe generally you guys like to hide it and be like, but we do. And I just don't want to, I don't want to go through that. And I'm just, when I'm supposed to be, going about my business and doing the things I should be doing, I can't focus. My mind's all over the place. I can't eat. I can't just live my life the way I want to live my life because, I'm going through this situation and I don't want to go through that.
But what I want to do is this: as long as you are feeling that you are not ready to engage, you are still very busy with your business and with your vision, with your life vision. I personally am one of the persons that will support you in that. A man should never marry until he feels that he is so needy and is so much, his whole being is demanding for a companion. A man should not marry because that is the desire and the expectation of the culture. A man should not marry until he feels that his job, his work, his profession is not enough. You must feel that you are not getting satisfied and fulfilled just from the job and professional thing you are doing alone, that you need somebody beside you. Only at that point should you even consider marriage. If you feel that you are too busy anyway and you are so engaged in the business, please don't go to marriage. Please don't. Because if you go into marriage while you are still very busy in your calling and business and work, and you feel that you are all everywhere already, you are already so busy in that business, and now you have to consider having a woman alongside, you will make that woman desperate and unhappy. So, unlike even though I like what your mom is saying, and I support her in the sense that you shouldn't throw away altogether the idea of marriage, but I still want to tell you that keep to yourself until you are already so desperate and you are feeling, I can't do without a woman anymore. That is the point you should consider. If you don't feel that you are free enough and that you are desperate enough, and if you don't feel that you have finished your work and your work, if you are feeling that your work is still taking so much of your life, you don't want to go into a marriage, because a marriage is going to take from you demand from you much more than you could imagine. A marriage is going to demand from you more commitment, more time, more dedication than you could even ever imagine. It's going to take you away from everything that matters to you. So you must be ready to sacrifice some of your time that you devote for that business, or some of your time that you devote to other things, unless you are ready to sacrifice it for the marriage, for the benefit of marriage. You shouldn't go into that marriage. That's what I would say. But the thing that I don't understand is this: how did you plan to ever have children if you are not going to be married? That's what I heard.
Well, well, I mean, from that point, I was just thinking I would just well, you know, I'll have a girlfriend and we'll just have babies.
Maybe I can help him out.
That's what I thought. But getting married, I didn't.
Okay, if you are planning to have a girlfriend, then have children with a girl, who will the children be with? Who will be taking care of the child? It's better not to have touched a girl than get her pregnant. In Nigeria now, I started hearing, I never heard this language before I left Nigeria. But now I started hearing language like baby mothers, or mama, or baby, what's that? Baby mama? Baby mama. Yeah, baby mama. Yeah, is that what they call it?
Yeah, baby mama.
Baby mama. I never heard that before. So you are thinking about baby mama. But, and I hear about the stars and popular people, Nollywood people talking about baby mama. I was thinking, what's a baby mama? You know, this is another development that I'm hearing right now. These are another things I hear. So I even hear that people have baby mamas, many of them, having one child here, one child there, one child there. But you are destroying the life of that girl. You know what it means to be raising a baby? Even with a husband that is present, it's still not easy. Even if you have a husband inside your house, as a woman, you have a husband who is a helper, it's still a rough life raising a baby. Now to make you a baby mama, and then the man just disappears, you are left alone with the apartment. Then with the pregnant and your apartment by yourself, with pregnancy. Or worse still, with the baby born and no man around, just you and your baby and your apartment and your furniture. There is nothing as evil as that, my dear. That is even more an evil than to be married and live a bad life. But to intentionally make a woman baby mama is catastrophic. Now I understand what your mom was talking about. Because she's a woman. She's a woman and she's thinking about that woman's pain. And she's thinking about that girl that is at somebody else's door. Your mother is thinking that woman that will be having children for you is somebody's else daughter. Is somebody's else daughter.
And even if we offend the children, I tell you the reason why.
Your mom is here.
I tell you the reason why he came to that conclusion.
Okay.
There's somebody that we hold high esteem, somebody that everybody looks up to.
Okay.
That went through divorce.
A man or a woman?
A man.
Okay.
That went through this divorce. We hold him so high esteem. We believe in him and
Respected him.
we respect both couples. So it happens to them. So when it happens to them, that's when he came to that conclusion. He said, Mom, but these are the people we're looking up to.
Like a pastor, for
That's
example.
something like that. These are the people that we respect. These are the people we're looking for. How can they go through that? If this happens to this kind of people, then we have no
pastor. Let's from me, for
then we
example.
have no hope. Then I said to him, you can't be thinking like that. I said, myself and your dad are your role model. You forget about them. You
Brilliant.
see me every day. You see your father. I said, look at the way myself and your dad does. I said, I said, don't look at anybody as don't put your trust in people. Don't look at people. You don't live with them. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know the reason why they concluded in divorce. I said, but you see me, you see your father every day. I said, so your parents supposed to be your role model.
But that
so stop
also
thinking
goes,
like
that is also talking about how devastating divorce is. Even though it didn't happen in his family, but it happened in the life of somebody that he holds in high esteem. So divorce anywhere could be devastating, even to other people who are not members of that family.
So it really affected him when he heard that those couples divorced. It really affected him so much. So much that he said to me, Mom, I'm not sure if I'm going to marry. I don't know I'm going to.
But the concept of baby mama or whatever, mama baby.
Then I now asked him, I said, so how are you going to have children? I said, maybe I'll just have girlfriend. I said, that's fornication. I said, how can you have a girlfriend, impregnated them? Then what's going to happen to the children? You're not even thinking, you're just talking. I said, you're not thinking, you're just talking. What's going to happen to the children? So that means you'll be living, or you might be living together, or maybe you're living in a separate home. I said, no, you need to do things properly. The proper way is when you are ready to get married, you get married. We pray that God will give you the right woman, and then you build your home with the principle of the principle of the Word of God.
But I want us to appreciate what he said, though, because I appreciate his sincerity. I want us to appreciate what he said, and such men like Kevin, I think that we have to really honor him because of his truth nature. The fact that he said it out, I will tell you what, other people, other men, they will not even pronounce it. They will not even let you know what they are thinking. But they are having that plan in their mind. And they go and do it. And they do it first time, second time, third time. So the fact that Kevin is even so open to openly discuss about it, I give him credit for it. Because if he had not raised that topic, there is no way you would have known, and there is no way you would have been able to advise him like that. But that, to me, talks about the tendency of our world today. That talks to me about the trending look or the trending thing about marriage, about relationship. And that trend needs to be curbed one way or the other. We need to find a way to curb and put an end or discourage or do something about that new trend that is going on among our young people. As a young girl, what are you thinking hearing this?
Actually, I was going to bring it up earlier that, this topic of divorce.
There are some women who are thinking like that too.
Yeah. This topic is going to be different for the generations before mine because of how the rate of divorce has increased over the last few decades. Like you just mentioned now, a divorce that happens 2 people away from you affects not only you but your children and how they see marriage as well. So you can think about 51 or 50% of marriages end in divorce. Like half of your friends have divorced parents. And you're growing up in this environment where okay, so if you don't like someone, then you could just bye. Which might be the reason why most of the people I know, you know, the women walk away, the men walk away. It doesn't matter because you know, the weight of even the understanding of what marriage is for. It's like an illusion. It's like, you know, this is some kind of mythical thing to us because we see so many of them falling apart all the time. So I think that it definitely is generational. I think it's definitely also cultural. I think, you know, in Uganda, it's probably much, much different than in America, you know, because a woman there is dependent on her community. A woman in America, she just moves out of town. She leaves, you know, she go and does her life somewhere else. Like, it's not that she doesn't have a stigma, but it's almost like she can still survive. You know, she still has a life that she can have. So there's a lot of like different factors that we'd have to bring up separately for our generation because of the way that we grew up looking at marriage. Even on television, you know, even on television they have parents.
So you support that concept of Kevin?
To impregnate a woman and then leave. The thing is,
Because he's having the same argument as you, that because of all the bad examples, so this is the only way out. That's exactly what you are saying.
Okay, so I find it really funny that a woman will say, I don't want to get married, but I'll have kids, I'll adopt kids, or I'll get in vitro. But she won't talk about the man. But a man will say, but she needs to take care of the kids. Like, he won't adopt a kid by himself. He won't, you know, but he expects the woman to also be there to take care of the kids. So that's why he has to.
He expects the woman to be pregnant.
Exactly.
But
it's like
the woman doesn't need a man. She
right.
just wants to adopt.
She just wants to adopt the kid. But he
he
wants the kid and the woman, but he doesn't. It's like
he wants to take care of the woman.
He wants them as like a package. And I'm like, so then why do you want the kid? I don't understand. It's just
so you are not against him having kids, but let him go adopt them.
Sure.
Rather than spoiling
if you have the means to do that and you really feel like you would be a good father to somebody, why not? But if you're looking just so that you can have a package deal elsewhere, somewhere apart from yourself, to be taking care of themselves in some other place.
No, let's get this right.
You know.
You are not against him having kids outside if they are adopted, or if he takes them in. But you don't want him to have those kids at the price, at the expense of a girl whose life will be spoiled by getting pregnant and just living by herself. Can you come and explain that? Yeah, that's what you mean?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean, because it doesn't.
But say that in your own words, in a clearer,
okay.
systemic way.
I just think that it's a hypocrisy when I hear that a woman will say, okay, I really have a burden for children, but I don't want to get married, or I don't, feel like I'm ready for marriage, but I have such a burden for children that I'll go and adopt a child.
Is that hypocrisy? That looks more like sincerity to me.
No, and that I'm going to contrast it. The hypocrisy comes in when I hear a man say, oh, I also want children, but he won't, he will never, I've never met a man who say, I will, of my own volition, go and adopt a kid and take care of them myself. Okay. He wants a kid in context with a woman who's also going to take care of it. That's why he would rather impregnate the woman rather than go and get just the kid. He doesn't want to take care of the kid. He just wants to have a kid. It's like, just spread my DNA everywhere. And then,
with another, with giving the responsibility
exactly.
for the baby to the woman. Mm-hmm. So you're having two packages.
Exactly. That's so you have your independent life, and then somebody's taking care of your
baby. Yeah. They're responsible.
Okay, so it's not fair.
That's all.
What's your name again?
Layo.
Yes, sir. Okay. What's your own view about mama baby, or what?
Baby
mama.
Baby mama.
Yeah. So I'm not one to judge Kevin, because the state of the world now is the state of the world is on another level. But I believe like this is the root cause of problems within the society.
What?
When a child does not grow up like in a stable home, they feel like they are not loved. They need love from both parents. The woman cannot feel the love that a man can feel. A child needs both parents, whatever the case. So when a child has not grown up in a stable home, or when the guy is living elsewhere, they're like, does my dad not love me? And then that's the beginning stages of greater problems.
Why, what you are as a girl,
Yeah.
would you like to be a baby mama?
Confident.
I want him and a man to hear how that sounds to a lady.
A baby mama. Personally, I would rather be alone than unhappy. Being a baby mama would make me more unhappy than being single.
It makes you not just unhappy, to make you absolutely frustrated, desperate on a daily basis.
And I would never want to bring another human being into this world,
Okay.
automatically knowing that they will be broken from the day they're born. That is selfish.
That is good.
Never.
That is good. That's a good way of looking at it. So you are considering the interest of the baby.
Definitely.
What about you?
Me, like, obviously, as Caroline said, the state of women today is different. So I'm very independent. I have my job. I have, I'm building, thanks to the HMT, towards a better life.
Yeah.
But as I said in the beginning, I think love is the highest form of anything. So no matter how much money I have, no matter how much power I have, like, it all, at the end of the day, love is the highest height of everything. I'm building a business, I'm building my life, because I want to be able to, because love is the end game for me. And for me to have the highest form of love, I need to be able to provide for my child to, so yeah, everything it ends in love, basically, for me anyway.
So you don't want to do anything if it's not going to be an expression of love.
Definitely.
So if you're going to marry, you want to marry out of love.
Exactly.
So you are working hard on yourself, getting profession, building a business, so that
Yeah.
you'll be able to express love both to your husband and to your children.
Exactly. So I want to be the best form of who I'm meant to be. So, because I believe that that's only when I can love someone wholly. When I'm the best, when I've built myself to the state where I'm the best of me.
Very good. And so, have you met men thinking like Calvin, thinking like, say,
To be honest, like, in London, I'm not even going to lie to you. Like, I work in the corporate world, so I know exactly what I'm saying. Like, I would say definitely more than 50% of guys these days think like that, because the situation is just so bad. Like, I can't.
so he's not alone?
I don't think you understand. He's the majority. Like, it's terrible. Yeah,
So he's just saying what is out there.
exactly.
That's what is happening. Can you imagine if you are together?
But what do ladies know about this?
Yeah, ladies are aware fully, but I think people's perception of love has been distorted from. It's all once again from the childhood. So everything has been distorted from the day.
No, because I don't understand. How can ladies be aware of that and not run for their lives?
They don't know what real love is. So from when they were young, they were meant to be in a stable home, a stable environment, to know exactly what love is, but they don't even know what it is. So
No, I'm just thinking, if a lady knows that she wants to be used
Yeah.
to produce a baby, and it will become a burden
yeah,
and a headache, the normal thing is to run for your life.
it's down to self-worth as well. Like,
Yeah, that.
everything ends and
100%.
begins with love. You don't know, you've never been loved properly. You don't know your self-worth. It's not possible for you to even, it's not possible. I don't know how to explain it, but it's not possible for you to even be able to know and distinguish what real love is and what it isn't. So you're just going to settle for anything.
Can I bring in a Ugandan perspective?
Okay.
Hearing what Layo and Kevin, Caroline, you're saying, it is really intriguing me, because I'm coming from a different cultural perspective. So even when I'm hearing you people share this, it's a bit of a surprise and a shock, but yet I know it's definitely true. Now, in Uganda, in our case, the situation is the other way around. What
The other way around?
Yes. What we are observing is that we are what we call the corporate ladies. The ladies who have their jobs, they have their cars, they have their money, they are doing well. The trend that we seem to be observing is that many of these ladies really, I wouldn't say many, but some of them are not so much interested in being married, but they're interested in having children. So their interest is, all I need from a man is a kid or two, but I don't want him to stay with me. I don't want him to be in my, I want to have my space. I want to have my space. So we are having a situation where we are seeing, you find a lady who is very well off, she has a kid, but she's not married. That's the kind of situation that we seem to be observing. Now, the London or the UK scenario of the men, I mean, is very surprising. It is very surprising to me.
Well, I also know you wanted something.
Yes, sir. It shouldn't surprise you because in UK, if you're married, part of the reason why men are running away from marriage is because when you're married, you have children, you both bought the house. At the end of the day, they might take
Who will buy the house?
Say if the husband, maybe both husband and wife bought the house,
okay,
or maybe the husband bought the house.
Okay.
At the end of the day, the house, the majority of the things that belongs to the man will be given to the woman.
If they are divorced?
Yes.
Okay.
And then the man will still be paying for the children.
Okay.
Pay, you know, it's like they will wreck the life of the man.
Yeah.
Entirely.
That's what I was saying.
That's part of the reason why he was talking.
Explain that.
And the other thing is, majority of his friends.
I like that.
Majority of his friend, the parents of his friends are divorced. He told me, he said, "Mom, can you imagine? I have 10 friends. 9 of them, there's no dad." So when a child is surrounded with that, how do you expect them to think? So the only thing I consoled him with his brother, consoled him. I said, "Look, just look at myself and your father. Don't look at these people."
And that's the question I wanted to ask maybe you, Pastor, because in this discussion of divorce, we are mainly focusing on the impact. The angle of the children, we've not so much talked about it. But in reality, when you are talking about the divorce, there are 3 parties that need to be looked at here. The children, of course, the husband and the wife. Unless if the divorce is taking place when the children had not yet come. But in a situation where the children have come, then the impact of the divorce is even catastrophic. It is even worse. The implications are far-reaching when you bring in the children. In my country, we are now observing a trend of a lawless generation of children that is being raised up and who are now becoming a social menace. And by and large, part of the challenge... Is that
credited to divorce?
Part of it is because of divorce. I haven't read the studies and the research that have been done, but I think it could be interesting to relate divorce to now the increase in some of the social challenges that are happening.
Okay, Kevin, you were saying, when Mom was saying some of the points, you said, yes, she got it, she nailed it. That was the same. Tell me about that.
Yeah, because in London, generally in London, in the UK, and probably in America, but I'm not too sure about America, when a man and a woman gets divorced, basically, he loses everything. you know, he loses everything that he's built, everything, plus the children and the woman. So basically, I don't want to go through
What
that.
do you mean? His money? Does he lose his profession?
Well, he doesn't lose his profession, but all maybe some of the assets that he owns and stuff, basically, you know, is given to the woman, and that's it. And so he has to deal with the emotions. He has to deal with building all that again. And that's one of that's why I didn't want to go
So
through.
maybe those men, those your friend, those your men friend are suffering, not necessarily because of the child, and not necessarily because of the divorce. Maybe they are actually regretting and suffering because they have to be paying the child, what they call it, child support.
Yeah.
They have to be paying child support to the child because he's working and the money is being taken from him, and because half of his income or half of his anything of his belonging has been taken and given to the woman. Maybe that is why the men are suffering as a result of divorce. Maybe not because they lost the relationship, not because of the love for the lady, and maybe not even because of the love for the child. Maybe just because his life is messed up. But I will tell you, Kevin, at the end of the day, if you want to know my opinion, I think the governments of those countries that demand that men should pay child support and divide everything they've made between the family, the husband and wife. I think that's the best thing to do, and I think they are right, because you don't know. They've probably done research and come to the conclusion that women by themselves should not be left with the child or with the children. Just like Caroline was saying, that the man wants to have, if that had not been the case, we would have had more cases of mommy baby, or what do you call it? Baby mama. Every man will just be doing baby mama everywhere. Especially if he doesn't need to pay child support. He will not lose a part of his assets. I mean, no consequences. And somebody has to be taking care of his own child for him. And the lady has to be investing her life. Because if she has to sit down at home to take care of the baby, it means she cannot work. And if she cannot work, how will she be able to take care of the baby? How will the baby be able to eat? Otherwise, she will have to leave the baby, lock the baby out inside the house, and then go to work. So that's why it is only fair that a man is forced to pay child support. Besides that, the woman has to carry the baby for 9 months. The woman then has to breastfeed the baby for another 1 year or 2 years. Where should she get the money or the income? How should she survive? Anybody thinking about that? But it is still selfishness that make the men to think that that's not fair. To be paying child support or for his asset to be taken. I still think that it is good that the government make the men to do that, so that men will also be taught responsibility. So that they will also think twice and say, okay, if I am going to a relationship, let me think twice. I must be committed to marriage, and I must be committed to this relationship. Even me, if I were to be in the place of the government in UK or US, I would lobby. Even in Nigeria, maybe I would think about lobbying for this in Nigeria. That even when you have baby mama, or what do you call it? Baby mama? Is it baby mama you said? If you have baby mama or mama baby, or mama, is it baby mama? Yeah, if you have the baby mama thing, if you go and impregnate a girl, I will also insist that a law should be passed that anybody who impregnates that lady should pay child support as well.
That's good.
I want to, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that one, I'm in full agreement on that.
But I'm going to address your situation too.
I'm in full agreement on that because part of the challenges that we've been noting is that men definitely do not care when they know there is no law that binds them to be responsible to that extent.
The law is needed.
So the law is needed as a constraint, you know, to help the men think twice, because in my society, I'm seeing so many ladies being on the receiving end. You know, a divorce has come in, the woman is staying with the children, but then she has no support totally from the man. So some of them have had to run to the media houses to expose the men for not caring for them. See?
Okay, then let's now face the issue that was raised by Pastor James, Dr. James. So what then happens when it is not a man that is talking like this? So it is not a man that is saying, I want a baby mama, but a girl that is saying, I want a baby papa. That's what he said.
Absolutely, yes.
So what he said is that a corporate lady, a successful woman who has her money, so she doesn't need a man's money. She has a job, and she probably has enough resources to take care of the baby and herself while still being pregnant, but she cannot be pregnant by herself. So she needs a man. Well, my answer will surprise you guys. My response is going to surprise you. I would rather support that. I think that is fairer. Yes.
For the woman?
For everybody. Yes. I think that is much more fairer than the other way around. I think if anything is supposed to be accepted in the society, it should be the baby papa rather than the baby mama. Because in the case of the baby mama, he goes to impregnate her. She is not the one who wants to be impregnated. He goes to impregnate her and disappears and leaves her with herself, her pregnancy, then later the baby, and then she has to fence for herself and for that baby somehow. But in the case when it is the lady that wants to get pregnant by herself but just needs a man, she is already aware of what she's going into. And she is already willing to take responsibility for that child. Like Lyle said, to love the child by herself, to provide for the child by herself, to carry the child by herself, and she doesn't need anything from the man. I think that is much more sincere. But because of Christianity and because of the Word of God, I think the only thing that is bad in this scenario is that it is a sin for the lady to get the man to come and sleep with her. So that will amount to adultery or fornication. And that could amount to a baby that is being born out of wedlock, which is not supporting the biblical idea of marriage. And it doesn't, it's breaking down the fundamentals of marriage, which is a sin. But if the woman will be responsible enough to say, okay, I don't want to sin, and I as a pastor here in Europe, I will tell you what, I've had situations like that in my own church here, whereby a woman, she's a millionaire. She has all the money she could afford. So she could afford a house help, one house help or two house help or three house helps. She could afford drivers. She could afford cars. She could afford security. She could afford a home, a house. So she first of all made her money. And when she was about 40 years old, no man is coming, no husband, or men were coming, but those men who were coming wanted to make use of her. And first of all, they were afraid of her because she was so powerful and strong. And secondly, they wanted to marry her, but so that she would take care of them. And she is not stupid. She doesn't want to take care of any man just because somebody has to sleep with her. So she is not agreeing. And then, you know, all those ones are afraid of her, but they still want to sleep with her or get her money. So she just sent all the men away. And she remained single, but at the same time, as a woman, she wanted to have children. So she does not agree or buy into the idea of remaining single all her life and not having children. Then she was also contemplating about the idea of taking a child, like you said, from the orphanage or adopting a child. She was contemplating that, and she was saying, I could do that, adopt a child from the orphanage, but she had her own doubts about that as well. And she was saying, even though I would like to do that, but I'm a woman too. I would like to feel myself as a woman, complete woman. I want to be able to give birth to my own child. But I don't want to sin. I want to feel what women feel like when they go and give birth to children. I want to give birth to children, but I don't want to sin because she's a member of the church. I don't want to fornicate, and I don't even want to sleep with any man that will not take responsibility for me, for these children, for me too. I think it's below me. I don't just want to sleep with a man that is not serious or that is not responsible, that will not prove and show that he deserves to sleep with me even and take responsibility for me. I think it's below. But she also had the fear that going to take children from some home, she doesn't know who the man is, the father of that child. She doesn't know the biography, their story. She said, I believe in myself, my own gene. I know who I am. I would like to have my gene. But I don't know the woman gene. I don't know the man gene. Just to say, I have a baby, I take children without knowing, she was not comfortable with that. So she said, I believe in my own gene. I would have liked to take care of those children like my children, but no man. So what you are saying about the corporate women in Uganda, I am on their side. And let's see the way, so this lady came to me, and when she came to me, I couldn't see from her side, from her point of view. As a pastor, we have to admit that even though you people are looking at me now as a very progressive person, and I think I'm a progressive person, I didn't know I was, but I would not term myself as conservative even before. But what I did, I thought was right. But now, I'm not so sure about my decision anymore. And my decision was to tell her that you can't do it. There's no way you, as a single lady, could have children or could have a child in my church without being pregnant. Without being married. So I told her that I would not support her. I'm thinking about that now, a little bit ashamed and embarrassed because I was dogmatic. I was being dogmatic. Because my school of thought at that time was the Word of God, the Word of God, the Word of God. You think I was more concerned about the book, the the letter of the word than the spirit of the word. And I didn't consider the fact that God always puts the man, the interest of the man, the interest of the individual, love for man, above just the letter. So my own dedication and devotion was towards, this is the way I've been taught, the word of God, that's it. You don't consider, because even in the word of God, there are exemptions. So if you think about Hagar, is it Hagar? Hagar. She was a prostitute. She was not supposed to be in the lineage of Israel. And she became the prostitute.
Yeah, Rahab.
There is Hagar too.
Hagar,
The daughter.
No, the maid of Sarah to Abraham.
Okay, that was the maid of Abraham. Yeah, to Abraham.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I was talking about Rahab. Rahab.
Yes, from Jericho.
Rahab from Jericho. Rahab, who was a prostitute.
Yes.
And she became a grandmother of Jesus, of David, the lineage of Jesus. And God permitted that for a reason. To make us know that even in God's calculations and equations, there is room for exceptions. There are rooms for exceptions. And that was not the only situation. With Ruth also. The man was married. He had many wives. And it was God that permitted Ruth to give herself to Boaz. It's a whole Bible. So God was always putting man ahead of dogma. He was always putting some higher things ahead of just dogmatic book, the word of the letter, just letter. So in this case, I was not so bold and I was not so liberal to say you can just go and give birth without being married. So I told her, how can you be married? How can you give birth without being married? It's not possible, it's not allowed. So she stopped coming to church. For some time. Then the next thing I discover is that she was pregnant. So she came to me because she was having some challenges with her pregnancy. So she came to me to pray for her. That was when we reconnected. God just did that. Through those challenges she was having during pregnancy, that we should talk. And that is when I began to realize that as wonderful as the Bible is, the scripture is, sometimes we don't consider the spirit of the Bible. The spirit behind, the spirit of God, the motivation of God, the mind of God, the feelings of God, God is not just spirit only. It's not just word only. It's not just, but there's the spirit of the word. Because when I began to talk to her, I said, so how did you become pregnant? But you are the one who told me you don't like a man to come and sleep with you and impregnate you because they don't deserve it. So where is the pregnancy coming from? I see the pregnancy now. So you went to eventually sleep with a man. She said, no, she didn't sleep with anybody. How is that you didn't sleep with anybody? She said, but you are seeing pregnancy now. Lord, baby. So she now was the one who was giving me education. I was sitting in a car And she was now educating me. She said, no, there is something in medicine now.
In vitro?
Huh?
In vitro,
In vitro?
where the injection?
Yeah, what do you call it?
I think it's in vitro.
In vitro. In vitro. In victory? In
Vitro.
In vitro. In vitro.
Yes.
In vitro. Okay.
Right?
She called it something, but so in vitro or whatever they call it. So anyway, at the end of the day, the whole gist is that what she did, she went and get somebody's sperm or bought it, or no, she made arrangement for somebody's seed, a man's seed, sperm, and went also and made arrangement with some hospital somewhere. So those hospitals, they specialize in that thing. Yes, that's their specialty. They make women who, even if they are married, those women are married, they could be married, but the man might be having some challenges, or the woman might be having some challenges. So they take the seed of the man and put inside the woman, and then that's how even married women who cannot have children, that's how they have children. So, but this case, she was not having a husband, but she still made the same arrangement with the hospital. So, and then, but what she said is, she was also telling me, this is just the first one. This is just the first one. I want to try this one out first. And then I have some of the sperm that I got. They are being iced or something, being stored. Frozen, yeah, they are frozen somewhere. And so that she wants to go again. If this one works out very well, she'll go and get another child again. So I said, so tell me, can I know the person? She said, no, you cannot know the person. She doesn't want me to know. Okay. So I said, so how did you get the sperm? You bought it? She said, it's the same thing. If you go and buy any sperm somewhere, it's just like adopting a child whose father you don't know too, or mother you don't know. She said, no, because she's a smart lady. She's a millionaire, multi-millionaire. So she's a smart lady. She arranged everything. She calculated everything. She said, no. She said what happened is that there is this very important person in her life that she respects so much, but she cannot love. And he cannot love her too. I said, why? Because she is married. And she would not like to break the marriage and the family of that man. The man also likes her or respects her. But since she's a Christian and he's a married man, her faith will not allow her to sleep with him or to be sleeping around. And he also respected the family, respected the man and the woman and the wife of that man. And he also respects her, but they don't sleep together or anything. But she told me the man is a medical doctor, a specialist, surgeon, one of the best in the country, well behaved, from a good family. His parents were professors. You know, he's good. He's faithful to the family, to his children, to his wife. You know, they respect each other. So she said she just went to explain to him her situation. That if it could help her, because he's a doctor, he also understood what was going on. And to him, to the man, it doesn't cost him anything. It doesn't cost the man anything to give the sperm. Because they can just take the sperm from the womb, from the man, without any big problem. So, you know, men can inject sperm every day, even how many times a day, as many times as possible. So it's not a big deal for sperm to just be donated. So he decided to donate the sperm. So, you know, that somebody is saying, is that not still adultery? You know, this is when Miss Sola Okoye asking. I would not call that adultery. I don't know why, but I don't think I would term that as adultery. To say it is adultery is too simplistic. So that's why I said I would not have termed myself as conservative. But the fact that I couldn't think so far, and I couldn't think of that, shames me today. And shamed me that day. I was ashamed that as the so-called progressive pastor that I thought I was, I couldn't come with a solution. I couldn't come out with a solution for a lady that wants to do right. The only thing I had for that lady was my dogma. And the dogma was that the word of God says, don't sin, don't commit, you cannot be pregnant without having a husband. From that day, I started having a reconsideration. Because I had to admit that I was not right. But even though I admitted, it was easy for me to admit that I was wrong. Even though I admitted that. But it took me even longer time. Even up to now, I'm still not bold enough to tell single girls to go and do that. Partly because even though I'm the one who is preaching that don't be under public opinion shouldn't affect you, don't listen, just do what you know is right and all that. I'm the one who preach that. And I try to live like that so that public opinion don't affect me so much. But I'm not preaching this openly. Maybe in private conversations, I might, bless a girl to do that, or by, let her take a decision. But I'm not preaching it. Because I don't know if they will tag me some name. But on the other hand, I think that is a better way out than baby mama. And that's why I said, maybe baby papa is a better concept. No, maybe not really physical papa, baby papa, but this way, through sperm bank. Although I know of another situation in England, a situation happened in England, maybe you heard about it, when a man, a 60-year-old man, doesn't work anymore because some women started approaching him for sperm, like the donation of sperm. But what he does is that he does it for money. So he's selling his sperm, and he could get those sperm as many times as possible. So he went and signed a contract with hospital that if anybody wants to have a child and they don't have men, or they don't want to have men, so he has an agreement with the hospital. So now the man is having 1,000 children. Yes. Because he had given sperm, you could give sperm one time, and that one time it could be 5 or 3, 4 children could come out of that. So he's now having 1,000 children that he had given birth to. So, and to tell you the truth, you will not believe this story. I have been approached with similar requests. I, Pastor Sunday, have been approached. Wahala there. Huh? So I'm saying women have said, Pastor, we are single women in the church, even from other countries. We are single women in the church. We are now approaching 40 or 30 something or 40 or so. And they say we should be, and we are virgins, forever virgins. Because they say it's fornication and adultery to go and have boyfriend and all that. So we are all virgins all over the place. Half of church is now virgin ladies of 40, approaching their 50. We have believed God. Some of them have done deliverance. And some of them have been so that the husband will come. But they are not coming, those husbands. Because half of those husbands are in prison. Those supposed they husband. You know, now to find husband is very difficult. Because most of the men, they are even not saved. And even out of the ones that are not saved, out of them also, they are in prison, or they are in drugs, or they are already married. So the chance of having women all engaged and married is becoming rarer and rarer and rarer by the day. So the married table or the married potential men, so the women, 80% of the women are fighting for like 20% or 10% of the men that are married. Because even the ones that are known or in prison or they are Christians or are in church, they are irresponsible. They are not be good, they are not marriage material. So these women are telling me, Pastor, please, we are begging you, can you be a donor? So that you just go to hospital and give because we believe in you. They listen to me. We believe in your mind, in your character, in your potential. All the things that you have is what any of us women desire. So if we are going to have children, we don't want to sin, we don't want to do adultery, but we want to have some reliable genes. Up till now, I still don't have an answer to that question. And I'm afraid to discuss with my wife.
But you know the problem. There's going to be a problem. Okay. I work in prison.
Okay.
I have 16, 18, 19, 20, 24, 20 onward in prison.
Children.
When I call them into my office and sit them down and interview them and say, so where is your parents? What brought you to prison? Majority of them have no father in the house. So if they are doing this donor thing, then we'll be having children that doesn't have no fathers. And like as Lio said, we need both mom and dad to bring up a child.
But there is this person writing this here. There is somebody writing, Patrick Christian. Patrick is saying, there is a scripture that says, and in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, yeah, we will eat our own bread. Yeah. And wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name.
So in that case,
to take away. So they say in scripture, to take away our reproach.
So in that case, the scripture has been fulfilled. That's what we can say.
That's what we can say. The scripture is being fulfilled.
The scripture is being fulfilled. But the only thing I will say is, I will not 100% sign for that because of the kind of work I do. And because of the kind of my patient, what they've been through. Majority of those children have no father. So if those children want to even get married, they don't, like Lio said, they don't know what is love. They don't know how to love a woman because they didn't grow up from that environment. So everybody would just be donating sperm all over the places, having children, no father, no mother. So what's going to happen?
But in the case of this lady that I'm talking about now, they have love. She is able to give so much love to these children. They are some of the most well-behaved, some of the most well-tutored, well-brought-up children. Better than the ones who are having 2 husband and wife in the family. Because she is able to afford it. Those are the children that every one of us are dreaming of having. Because she got herself ready for that. But you know those people in the prison, you could still have a man physically present, but not play that role.
True.
And many who are husband and wives, and even who are fathers physically, and they are living in their homes, you know, they might not have even been taught what it means to be a father. And they don't even know how to play that role. Sorry, you wanted to say something?
I was wondering about the lady with her kids, if she has male figures in her life that, you know, can play father to her children, even though she's not married. I was just wondering if that was a factor in their lives when they're grown up. Did they have men that they could say?
She has friends, she has men, but she's not like lover.
Right.
Not like a lover, but she has pastor. You know, she will. You know, she had pastors. She had friends. Even the man that whose sperm or eggs were used comes around to also play the role of, but not living sexually, but just helping, like family friend, like what they call it, father.
Is a surrogate.
What not surrogate? What they call it? Godfather. Yeah.
Godfather.
So those children have godfathers and godmothers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that were also, you know, I think there used to be a practice of godfather and godmother before.
Yeah.
So whereby a godmother or the godfather can speak to the life of the children. Yeah, that's what she was. Yeah.
I was thinking maybe that was part of the reason why they could grow up kind of balanced, because they can bond with a man as a father, even if the father isn't in the home all the time. I don't know, but I think maybe if you're going to do the in vitro thing, if you have to consider who's in your life to balance out the kids as far as that.
This is a hard one.
You are not feeling my dilemma.
I think remain with the dogma.
It's a hard one.
It is really a hard one, because even as you explained, I am not agreeing completely.
Me too.
You see, like I think Pastor Ronke is noting. I mean, to me, I don't have a clear scripture basis for it, but to me it looks a bit of adultery. Or really, frankly, I do not have. Sometimes you may not be very exact, but then your gut feeling tells you this is something that is not, that's not right. I can't put my hands on it, but I just feel it's not right. But the other bit that I have had, and I know because I have a colleague in my country who has been doing that, sometimes for one reason or another, the wife may not be able to give birth. So the husband, they go to the hospital so that his sperms can be used to, I think, no, they get the ovary of the lady, his wife, and then also his sperm, and then they grow them together outside the environment, and then I think later on, I don't know whether they bring it back in the
inside a woman.
Yes, yeah, back into the woman. That's what I have had, and I would say I'm comfortable with that because it is husband wife. But I'm imagining this where my sperms are going to another woman. That is surely unacceptable.
Let's have to action.
It's true.
I think
Unacceptable.
like that woman, the first time that she came to you for advice, I don't think you were wrong for telling her the
right,
truth,
yeah.
the right thing. According to the Bible in Ezekiel chapter 33, if I'm not mistaken, it said you were the watchman. You told him the truth. And on the other hand, I will see it as a kind of disobedience. And we shouldn't allow technology to take the place of the
Of the man.
of the word of God. Because like 1 Timothy chapter 4 verse 3 told us, he said, from verse 1 to 3, he talked about the later times, the end times. He said they will be forbidden to marry. So these are some of the things that we are saying. Thank God for mothers like this. Everything that we are doing now, it's all about seed, whether we know it or not. They will affect our children in one way or the other. So as godly parents, let us always live a life that is worthy of emulation. Let us always live, let us become real role model for our children. Let us affect our children more than what outsiders can affect them with. Let us affect our children more at home than what their teachers, even in school, can affect them with. Let us affect our children more at home than what the society can affect them with. Because all these things, they said charity begins at home. So most of all these things that we are seeing today, they all begin from home. Like what Caroline said, he said if you have maybe because of divorces of other families, they begin to tell on other people. So as they begin to tell on these youths that are coming up. So please, as parents, let us affect our children positively. Let us affect them with the fear of God. I think this is one of the things that will be able to change most of these things or dilemma.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry. So what you were saying, I don't know. To everyone else, it's a foreign concept, but to me, it's not.
Okay.
Like because of the environment, as I said before, I work in the corporate world. A lot of women are very successful. That's just the reality of the
Because
situation.
I want to find out what is evil in
Yeah, like
that a woman wants to be fulfilled.
What you've
It's
been
that we are
saying,
not
yeah.
talking about, we are not thinking about the side of the woman at all.
So I'm not like, I don't have a solution to the actual woman's problem, but all I can say is that, like, as time has changed, like, women want to
Time
be
is
more of a
changing.
success, but we kind of put that before, like, there needs to be a balance in life. So as much as you want to be successful, make sure, like, so that you don't get to the age of like 40 or 50 and you're all of a sudden searching. Like, make sure as you're trying to progress in your
That
career,
is what some
you
people
don't.
have to do now.
Yeah, I understand the end result, but to avoid that, just know that as you're, you know, working hard and trying to progress, just don't neglect like the other side. So everything once was
Because
said.
what about in the case when, like in England,
Yeah.
do you know that in England, the men, especially for the black community, is catastrophic.
Yeah.
You cannot have, especially if you want to marry into your race, if you want to marry into a black community like you, or Nigeria, or something like that, you know, you are going to be in trouble as a lady. Because there are not too many of them who are not married, who are free. And those who are not married, they are not as serious. They are not even marriage material that you could look into.
But I think, so I always use myself as an example because that's the only one I know. But yeah, so I want, like, my main aim, like one of my main aims in life is to be a success. That there's no compromise on that. But at the same time, because my core value is love, like, so I still have, just that, like, I'm working towards both of them. But at this moment in time, I have to concentrate on my career in order to be the best person I can for the person that I'm going to love. But that person is still in my life. Maybe not 100%, but they're there, if that makes sense. So I'm just not neglecting, I'm just not putting one thing before, I don't know how to explain it, but I'm not neglecting that side. So
What about if you are not
Yeah.
lucky enough to have that person there? Because women don't pick.
Yeah.
Women don't go to search.
yeah.
Or maybe women do that now, I don't know.
Yeah, I think, so a lot of, there's actually women that I know that have done exactly what you just said, like, it's not foreign, like,
You found that before?
it's not foreign,
Okay.
it happens, like, I wouldn't say normal at the moment, but it's not foreign at all, like,
Okay.
yeah, I know a few women that do that,
Because it was new to me. I didn't know women do that.
yeah, but it's,
You also have to look at the fact that in the story that you told us, this woman was saying that she gladly would have been with a man if there was a man who wasn't intimidated by her money and her
Yes.
power.
Yes.
If there was a man who wasn't just messing around, who wanted to be
Just
taken
be-
care
yeah.
of.
Yes.
So had we had men around her,
Yes.
she would have just
married.
right, and it wouldn't have been an issue at all.
Of course.
So maybe the issue is far before the in vitro thing. Maybe the issue, like our friend,
Pastor Justin?
Austin. So just like Austin said, like the problem is really far. It's like one thing leads to another. You know, if we don't bring up strong men who are not intimidated by strong women, who are not looking for a mommy in the form of a wife, a woman. If we're not bringing up strong men, of course we're gonna have a bunch of problems. And the Bible even says that we'll have children returning to their fathers. That means that there's a break in our fatherhood. We don't bring up fathers anymore, like you said. That's what we're looking for. The whole world is looking for a father, you know, and we have a father problem in these days. Yeah.
So you think that the reason was not just that this lady just wanted to have her own children, but it's because there was no man in her life, no father. So she decided to play that role. Maybe
that was part of it. Maybe, you know, she, you know, part of that, like, Lyle said, you know, love is the end thing she's looking for.
Yes.
And so you can get
actually, she was telling me, Pastor, I need to give love.
Yes. And women do. Like, we're holding that need to nurture and to love in all the time. So, like, if you don't have... So, a woman that has that need, eh? I believe so. I believe every woman is born with this need, not only to be loved, but to give it and to receive it and then multiply it back. And I think that with children, when you're watching all of your friends having children that they can love and who love them unconditionally and, you know, mommy, like when you're seeing that kind of bond all the time, you want something like that. And if there's no man who's going to give that to you, I mean, if you can get it somehow, anyhow.
Okay, so remaining a single for life is not an option? It's not a good option for the lady? It's
an option. There are women who... You know, they don't need it. I think for some women, you know, we can't say that everybody is the same.
But I'm just asking as the nature of the lady. What's the nature of the lady?
Nobody wants to die alone. That's like no one. Okay. Whether it's a man or woman, everything revolves.
No, one man doesn't care for marriage.
Oh, okay.
Man is not such a need. It's not such a pressing need.
Right, okay.
Can you imagine that men could have children everywhere and not even know them? It's not a big deal for the man. So, but for the woman, do you mean she has a need for that?
Yeah, everything is love. Like, So even as she's working towards, she's thinking, because in the end, she wants to be able to love someone. Everything revolves around love. Like, that's just the biggest part of it all. Like, her being successful and everything. Like, it has, mentally, it's all about love. Like,
In my own case, say if I'm not married and I've been looking around, I can't find anyone.
And you have like 40 years old.
I'm 40 or 50. I will remain single. That's number one. Number two, I will have more time for God, more time to fulfill my purpose. And
maybe you are talking like that because you already have 5 children.
No, I'm not, because
four. I added one more.
My husband is the first one. To me, because there's no marriage in heaven anyway. There's no husband and wife in heaven.
But she is talking about earth.
I'm not going to force myself. I'm not going to force myself on any man. Then I'm not going to give birth out of wedlock. So I would rather stay single. I'm just busy for the kingdom. That's what I would do.
Women do that.
So what would you say? You know, is it more natural for women to be married or to be single, to remain single?
I think marriage, because like I said in previous...
if she's not having children, she's not married, but would she still like to have children? Is that more normal for her than for her to be single?
I think that it will quench a lot of things that are natural to her.
It will
That
help her resolve
it
a
will
lot
help
of
her
issues.
resolve some burdens that she will live with day to day, or she'll have to face day to day. Just coming home to
you know, there are
emptiness,
some women
yeah.
who are having children out of wedlock. That was a good word. Women have children out of wedlock. Is that? I think that is worse than the intro, whatever you call
vitro?
it. In vitro.
So you mean like sleeping with someone else? Yeah, I think I don't agree with that because the actual act of sex is
Sin.
Not just sin. I don't think sex is sin, but I think that
wedlock.
Out of wedlock, yes, because there's a bond that happens there. There's a bond that is more than just physical.
Yes.
That happens there that is important to God. In fact, I would say that marriage is not the wedding, it's not the ring, it's not any of that. I think that when you have sex, that's the actual act of marriage right there. Mm-hmm. And I think that is the problem.
It's not the ring, eh?
No, what I mean, it's perishable, you know.
No, but some ladies would think that is the white gown.
No, but that's we think all over the world. Oh, when I can break the glass.
Women think that the white gown, that is the marriage. Huh?
So, and you know, but they think the wedding is equivalent to the marriage. But I actually think the actual night, the consummation of the marriage, that's marriage. That's when it begins. So I don't agree with sleeping with somebody to do that. But sorry, what was the question? The question.
Well, the intro thing, if the lady is having her children, like she's very happy now. Mm-hmm. She's not even thinking about men.
Let me ask. Yeah. Well, still on that intro and specifically on that lady. On that lady. I'm looking at it from a situation where she, quote unquote, she's interested. She would have loved to have married this doctor.
No, maybe not that particular doctor. She just respect each other. If she, you know, every woman and every man, they have an ideal picture in their mind. Maybe not him in particular, but she respects him so well that if he had been free and if he had not been married, would be the dream kind of man. That she would have liked, you know, not him, John or Joseph, but someone who is clean of that caliber.
But that's very dangerous.
Okay, because you see, why bringing up this matter again is that, okay, if you are to expand the discussion, this doctor, doesn't he subconsciously think that those are his children?
Does he what?
Doesn't he think subconsciously that I have some kids somewhere?
Hanging somewhere.
Yes, somewhere. Because I'm trying to expand the thinking. Because he knows he willingly gave his seed out, and that seed has resulted into two children who are alive. So wherever he is, doesn't he know that he really has some other children?
I think that is a bit dangerous as well. You know the reason why I said so? Because one day this man might grow old and about to die. And they asked him, how many children have you got? We want to see all your children, or he wants to do his will. So what is he going to do with the other two children?
But they are not his children, no. They are her children.
Yeah, but the seed is the man's seed. This woman, I know, I'm a woman. This woman might still claim that these two children are his children, belongs to this man, even they don't have anything together.
No, she doesn't even. They don't even. It's not even a question.
I think we have to, know
it's not even a question. You have to know the culture.
Yeah, also. I think that we're speaking in hypotheticals right now until we actually know.
I know the situation.
We don't even.
So there's no communication. There is nothing.
No, they come like family. They're family friends. Yeah. but they don't just have, with the wife also, with everybody, no, just nothing sexual or nothing love or relational.
Because I would have preferred her to do it with somebody that
She doesn't know at all.
at all,
Yeah.
instead of somebody that you know.
Yeah.
Because
I
anything
agree.
can arise at any time.
And that's the point
Anything
I
can
was
happen.
Especially if the children resemble the man.
Or another one is the woman in the house. What about the woman in the house? The woman's children in the house and the woman's children outside. They meet together. Mistakenly.
They don't know that they are children.
They don't know each other, but they found out that they want to get married.
And sir,
And then what's going to happen? And then the dad can't say, "This is my daughter." The other woman can't say, "Well, this is your dad." What's going to happen?
But he's godfather, so it's almost like
Yeah.
uncle. So you would never be interested in your uncle's children.
Same blood.
Like a lot of people, it's like this is the first time. This is just foreign to a lot of people. They've never heard this. They can't comprehend it. They've never seen it. But I know a lot of women that are successful and like this. So this is not. It's a matter of like understanding and your knowledge. Like this is foreign to a lot of people. It may not be right to some people. Then that's fine. But yeah, obviously we're talking, as you said, hypothetically at the moment. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot more to it.
Yeah, anyway.
and sir,
Yes, sir.
I believe the truth will come out one day somehow.
We'll get to heaven.
Somehow. No, even here, because
will.
what is the woman now going to tell her relatives? Maybe they ask her, who is the father of these children, or how did you get these children? I know of one lady.
But that's based on their own understanding of the culture. Exactly.
I know of one lady. Everybody knows that this woman cannot give birth. So she went away. She went away, let's say for 2 years. Then she was coming with a baby. Then they asked her, "Where is this child coming from?" She said, "It's my child." Now this child has no identity, no document, nothing whatsoever. Maybe to even have. I'm talking about Europe here. Mm-hmm. This child, when she's sick, you cannot take her to the doctor or something.
No, why? If it's a child, she could get documents from him now.
Yes. Maybe she went to, I don't know how she got the child. So if
any woman can register her own child now, even without having married.
Excepting now, maybe with their new laws or something.
But there's so much loss.
But sir, in the case of that doctor, the doctor would have helped the woman by telling her the truth. I cannot do this. Because anything can happen tomorrow. Except maybe the doctor is going to come.
It's an agreement now. He's helping her. He rather helped her. He was very grateful to her. What about the man that is being paid for it? Women are paying money to buy sperm.
I think that is better. That one is business. Let me. Yes.
I think it's the opposite. I think rather that it is better to just do it as a blessing, as a help, like the doctor did, than to do it as business. In fact, there are some people who are thinking. I was discussing this on my program, Ask Pastor Sunday one day. And somebody was saying that man that has sold, sperm to 1,000 women, yes, that is not good. I said, what is bad about that? But he's helping women now.
He's what?
Helping women. And then the lady told me that, but he's getting money for it. If he's really happy, he will not get money for it. So that one is thinking is because of the money that makes it bad. But you are thinking business is good.
But no. But in all, it is against the will of God.
Okay. What will you say about it, Kevin?
The sperm bank business. Personally, I wouldn't do that because.
But you will do the baby mama.
God forbid.
Wait,
that's what you wanted to do.
Wait, the baby
You see
mama
that?
situation.
Oh,
One second. No, wait, one
But
second.
it was for it.
The baby mama situation. Maybe I didn't make myself clear about that. I didn't mean I'll just have babies and then I'll just dump her. I meant that I would have babies and we'll be together, but it won't be a marriage because of that legal stuff. that she spoke about. That's what I meant about that. So obviously we'll still be
Is
together.
it not the same thing?
Not really.
Okay,
Not really to me. Anyway. Not really to me. Not really to me. But
Okay,
then,
let's see what the woman will say about that.
Okay, that's what I was saying, is that marriage is not the wedding.
yeah.
It's the actual act.
Yes, go ahead.
It's the actual act, you know, like I'm not gonna, like you, like I'm kind of uncertain about saying this out loud, but to me, two people who are living together and have a kid, they're married. That whether or not they have the paper or the ring, they're married before God, in my opinion.
Okay.
You know, so that, anyways, that's what I would say to him, but he can finish what he was saying.
They want you to finish your opinion. Take your talk now.
Yeah, about the sperm bank stuff. I wouldn't do it because for me, the way how I see it is, I have a child out there, and I don't have any connection with the child, and any child I bring into this world.
So
I
it
need a
is
connection.
sperm that determines a child for you.
Well, the combination. So if that happened, I would want to be connected to the child, essentially.
Because men think sometimes that they have a child just by sleeping with a woman. But I think that if you want to say is your child, it takes more than just sleeping with a woman. And it takes more than just releasing a sperm. For you to call a child your child, you've got to invest yourself into that baby. Your time, your character, your values. For example, me, I don't know my father. Up to today, I've never met him. And I don't even know if he's alive or he's not alive anymore. I've never met him. But my mother was only married to him for 6 months. But I have a father. And I have a mother. As far as I'm concerned, my father is my grandmother who brought me up. And my mother is my grandmother who brought me up. Because my mother, the biological mother, she gave birth to me when I was 3 years old. She was gone. She went to marry another man. So left me with my grandmother. And my own father, he never even saw me, maybe. When I was 6 months, they were separated. So I never saw my father and I never saw my mother. Because 3 years, I didn't remember her. I only remembered my grandmother. To me, my father was my grandmother. And my mother was my grandmother. So for me, the person to say you are a father or mother demands more than just sleeping with a girl or a woman or giving a sperm out. But to become a mother means more than that. It means, or father, it means investing yourself. Or especially becoming a father, it means investing yourself into that child. Even though later on in life, I got to meet my mother, but I was already grown up. And I was already grown up. And by the time I met her, I tried my best to feel connected to her because she was younger, more beautiful, unlike my grandmother. So as a little baby, as a teenager, I wanted to call her my mother because she was good, beautiful, young. You know, she was more presentable to be my mother than my grandmother. My grandmother was already, it was always, but even though I liked what I saw in her as being youthful and nice looking, but there was no emotional connection. I couldn't feel any attachment or love to her. Mm-hmm. My love and attachment was to my grandmother. And even though my grandmother died eventually, and I was left with my mother, but I couldn't feel that passion or love for my mother. Even after my grandmother was dead, up till now, I'm still feeling that my grandmother is my mother and my father. Mm-hmm. The connection, the love, and the attachment is only to my grandmother. Okay, guys. Well, we touched on very serious topic today. But the thing we are talking about is what we actually started by divorce, by talking about divorce. That divorce, God hates divorce. And divorce is very devastating, both to the man and the woman. That's what we discover. I was coming from the point of it's even more devastating for the woman. But from what we heard from Uganda, it's like it's equally devastating both to the man and the woman. But I still think it's more devastating to the woman. But anyway, God is divorce, and we should try our best to avoid it. Well, this topic today was so serious, it took longer. We are here now for like 2.5 hours. 2 hours, 35 minutes. So I'm sorry for keeping you people waiting for so long. But it was an important topic. And I'm sure we touched on different aspects that normally you would not have touched on. People would not touch on. But I hope this blesses somebody. And thank you. We are going to HMT now. And we are going to have HMT in the next 10, 20 minutes. We are going to have a direct, broadcast. Yes, live broadcast of HMT. And if you are interested, you could join us. God bless you, everyone. Bye.